name is Maya, and welcome to the episode 39 of the Mila's Nope of my knitting podcast, where I share all my thoughts, process, and other random stuff about all things fiber related, but mostly knitting. So today is the 12th of December 2024, and I'm coming to you from the French-speaking part of Switzerland, where I live with my gecko. Yes, so first, I'm a little bit lost because I just decided, I finally decided to change my username. So this is not the maya.tinks knitting podcast anymore, but it's gonna be my podcast. Yeah, more on that at the end, but that's coming on today's episode, the story of my username change. And I also have 3 works in progress, one of which is brand new, and I have no finished objects. I have 1 acquisition, but it's the new cast on. And I have 2 announcements, one of them being the username change, so it's more like a PSA, I guess. And the other one is a test call coming at the end of the week, I hope. Anyway, first, what I'm wearing, I look like a I look like a vampire coming out of a coffin with the collar like this. Yes, this is the Miles shirt jacket by Ozeta, and I would like the collar to sit like this, but it doesn't. It just comes up. Anyway, I knit this like 2 years ago using unspun yarn, so the suggested yarn, but I didn't use the exact suggested yarn. I used Nutiden, of course, and this is the colorway Botanisca, has double. And I knit size 1, I use 530 grams, and I use 5.5mm needles. I don't usually share this much details, but it's gonna be kind of useful for the work in progress I'm gonna talk about later, so today I do. So yeah, as I mentioned, this is size 1. I usually don't knit such a small size, but it's already quite big, even though it's... Hello! The sun is coming out. Yeah, it's already big enough, and I think my stitch gauge is correct, but my row gauge is a little bit too long, which doesn't really make a huge difference, except the collar shaping is a little bit too long. Wow, calm down, son. I haven't seen the sun in like 3 days, and the exact moment I start filming, it comes out. Sorry about that. Yeah, so regarding the fit, this is a little bit too small because a lot of reasons. First being, I need size 1. And even if the positive is in the arms and the body is okay, the shoulders are too small. And I need this before I really understood what was going on with my whole large back, large shoulder situation, so I didn't size up, even though I should have. So I can definitely feel on the back it's too small. And the second reason is that this is an English tailored shoulder construction, which is the one with the trapezoid at the back. I can maybe turn around. I'm not sure you can see, but yeah, there is a shoulder seam here. And it's not necessarily a problem in itself regarding the fit, but in this case it is because the trapezoid is formed with increases, so you cast on the back neck and then you increase on each side. And when you do it that way, it's just too tight. The stitches are completely stretched out and elongated to the max here, so this seam has absolutely 0 stretch, and I can definitely feel it. It's very uncomfortable, I really don't like it. So it's another reason, like, it was already too small on the back, and it's making it worse that the seam is not stretchy at all. So I really don't like the fit of this. And I also don't like it because I made the sleeves too short. It's okay like that, but as soon as I, like, rest my arms in front of me when I'm at the computer, it's like bracelet length, and then I'm cold. There. And yeah, I'm just always tugging on them, and then I can feel the seam even more when I tug on the sleeves, so it's making things worse. And I also don't like the color. because I bought this on the internet, of course, and I just thought it was different, and when I got it, it's a little bit too washed out. It's a beautiful color, but I just don't like it. Just me. Yeah, but yeah, it's still knitted and it's pretty precious, so I still knit with it, even though I didn't like it, and I don't like the garment in this color, so I don't really want to wear it out. Yeah, it was kind of dumb. And the other dumb thing I did is that I actually had 50 grams left over, so I could have lengthened the sleeves, but since I didn't like the color, I destashed it, so I sent it away to someone, and now I'm like, I can't lengthen my sleeves even though I had the yarn. Yeah. Anyway, I still wear it a ton at home because it's knitted and held double at a very loose gauge. I think it's like 16 stitches. And this blend, this colorway was pretty thick to begin with, so it's really warm. Like, before I started filming, I had just my t-shirt on. I mean, you cannot see, but it's a t-shirt. And I was super cold, like my hands were freezing and I was just freezing in general. Do you also do that when you're cold and you have your jacket or your sweater just next to you? And you know you need to put it, you just need to reach for it and put it on. But I don't do it because I don't know. I don't know why I'm like this. I always do that. Every morning I'm super cold and I stay cold for 3 hours before I do something. Is this what it's called, demand avoidance? Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so I've been wanting to replace this guy as a actually wearable thing, which is why I put it on today, because one of my works in progress, if you follow me on Instagram you know what I'm talking about, is gonna be the replacement for this guy, which is also a knitted end, but I'm gonna talk about that later. Alright, so let's get into the actual works in progress for today. So my first one is a pair of socks. I mean, it's not a pair yet because I only have one. But it's this guy. I'm knitting using Lang yarn, self-striping yarn, and I'm using the Vanilla Kite Heel sock by Celine Phaeton, which is a new to me heel construction, the Kite Heel. And I turned the heel. It looks gigantic. It is. And yeah, so it's a short row type of heel, so you do the short rows here, and it has increases and decreases. And I wasn't sure how it was gonna fit. I was pretty sure it was gonna fit great, but I didn't know how. So I wanted to do a pair to understand. And I tried on the sock on my boyfriend yesterday, because this is too big for me. It's for a man, and my boyfriend happened to have the same size fit at the recipient. So I tried it on him yesterday. It's way too big. It's my first time doing this heel, so I had kind of no concept of how big or small I was supposed to do it. And I could have used the guidance in the pattern, but I was too lazy to actually do any calculations, measure my gauge or anything, so I just went with it and decided that if it was too big or too small, I'm just gonna frog, because my life is about frogging, apparently. So I'm gonna frog because it's too big, but I'm super happy about the way it fits. You have only one line of short rows here, and if you've ever done a standard short row heel, like a fish lips kiss heel or something like that, you know that you will do one first set of short rows on one half, and then you resolve all the short rows, and then you do the other half of short rows on the other side. And it's quite easy to do, and I like knitting heels that way. But I have always found a little bit tedious that you have to do the short rows twice, kind of. It has always bothered me. So when I saw that this one only has one set of short rows, even though you have more, it's different. You only do them on one go and then you're done. So that's why it was really interesting to me, and I'm happy to report that it was an absolute delight to knit. I really love it. I think it's gonna replace my usual fish lips kiss heel, because this is a lot nicer to knit, in my opinion. So I'm not bothered I have to do it again. And now the question is, it's too big kind of everywhere. In the leg it's too big and the leg is too long. and the heel is too big. So either I only undo until the beginning of the increases and then a little bit more because the leg is too long, and I increase less to do the heel, or I undo everything and I just start over, because I also used 2.5 millimeters by mistake because I took the wrong needles with me and I didn't notice until there. So either I start over with the correct needles and then I do kind of the same heel. I don't know. It's not a lot of knitting. I think the leg would be like 2 hours, less than 2 hours for me, so it's not a big deal. But I don't know. Do I have the patience? I don't know. It's just gonna go in the naughty corner for a day or two until I take a decision, and then I will take a decision. Alright, the next work in progress is the new cast on, which is also my acquisition, which I'm gonna show you first. This is Stainless Garn Duo, which is I have a fluff coming out from the cuff and touching my hand, and it's really bothering me. It's a mix of cotton and wool. I think it's 55, no, not I think, it's 55% merino wool, 45% cotton, so kind of 50-50. It feels very, very soft. It's my first time using it. And I'm knitting a camisole for my photographer friend because we decided that I could pay for the photo shoots we are doing together, half with actual money and half with knitting. So she browsed through my Instagram account and she chose whatever she wanted. And she chose the Simplistic Rib Cami by Lea Lykke. Excellent taste. And she told me she wanted it in a warm rust colorway. So I just looked at what I could find in my local yarn shops, and one of them had this in this rust colorway. However, on the website it looked like an actual orange, like fallen leaf rust, and when I went to the shop I was like, this is tomato soup red. It's not orange at all. But it was the only fitting yarn at the fitting gauge. The other contender was knitting for olive cotton merino. No, not cotton merino, it was merino, just merino. But it was just merino, and it was, I could hold it double, but it was probably gonna be warmer than if I used the cotton yarn blend. And I wasn't sure I wanted to go with a full merino camisole if she wanted to wear it in the summer. So I decided to get this one anyway, and I asked her if she was okay with the color, and she said it was fine. But she only saw a picture. So I just hope she will like it. I'm gonna see her at the end of the week, in 2 days actually, so I can show it to her and she will see if she likes it or not. If she doesn't, I will keep it for myself. I guess. I don't really like this color either, so I'm not sure, but I hope she likes it. So this is where I'm at. You are looking at the front, and the back is actually a little bit higher. So yeah, you can see there's a little bit more fabric here than here. And this is one of the many design features of the pattern, which is like so well designed. I knew it already because I had already knit it for myself, but I was reminded of the fact that this is like incredible. It's next level, really. It's just a simple camisole, but there is so much little details. Like there are, at least I think on the back there are 3 different increase rates on each side. on the inside, I have a thing in the eye. On the inside and on the outside. And on the front, I don't know, there are like 6 different increase rates on each side here. So yeah, it's quite complicated. But yeah, the result is worth it. So thank you, sun, for blowing out this poor tomato red like this. But yeah, I cannot really put it on because I haven't sewn the straps together, because I want her to do a try on before I sew them, to be absolutely sure they are not too short. But it's gonna be difficult to lengthen because this is ribbing. It's 1 by 1 ribbing. Wow. And yeah, I'm gonna have some trouble if I want to lengthen it, but whatever. I'm gonna see if I have to do it, how I do it. Oh yeah, the funny thing is that Seamless Gown Duo is actually one of the recommended yarns, but I didn't know it. Because, as I mentioned, I just went on the website of my local yarn shop to see if I could find something, and I saw this yarn and I was like, oh, it's gonna be perfect for the pattern, so I'm just gonna buy it. And then I bought it, and then I pulled out the pattern, and it said Seamless Gown Duo, and I was like, oh, that's nice. So I just used the recommended needles, which are 3mm, and I didn't swatch, and I just cast on. And I mean, it's ribbing, so it's difficult to measure the gauge anyway, but you're supposed to measure the gauge when it's not stretched out, so I did it. I had way too many stitches, and then I did like this, and I measured, and it was perfect, so I'm like, it's okay. I have the correct gauge. I don't know, it's ribbing, it doesn't really matter. So yeah, I'm gonna try it on her in 2 days and see if it fits, but I think it should be fine. I'm doing one modification to the pattern, which is I am adding waist shaping. You can maybe see the line of decreases there. It's not in the pattern, but I did that on mine, and I think it fits perfectly. And when she picked the pattern, she picked based on my picture, not on the pattern picture, so I'm doing exactly the same thing I did for mine, so that she's not surprised like, oh, why is the waist fitting differently? Now that I'm reknitting this guy, I really want to make another one for myself, because I don't have the first one anymore, because I knit it in 100% wool. It was a BFL wool from West Yorkshire. This is super difficult to say. West Yorkshire Spinners. It's the fleece BFL DK thing, and it's super itchy, like it was impossible to wear, and it was too short because I didn't have enough yarn. So I sent it away to someone who claimed it. And the person who got it is super happy about it, so I'm happy this knit is making someone else happy, because it was just stressing me out that I had something that I couldn't wear in my wardrobe. So now everyone is happy, so it's a good thing. But I really like the shape of this garment, so now I want to make another one for myself. But it's a lot of ribbing, and I'm really not a fan of the way the pattern is written. It's like, so it's just making things more difficult for no reason at all. Because it's the kind of pattern where everything is written out, but not everywhere. So when there is no information, you're like, why is there a precision about this particular thing in this place, but not in the other place? Is it because I need to not do it? But obviously you still do, so it's just inconsistent. And there are so many indications in every single row you knit that is kind of clogging the space and the instructions, and you're just trying to find out the useful information, which is where to do the increases, in the middle of all the useless information that's just repeated at every row, and it's like so difficult to read. It's really a pain. And I remembered from the first time I knitted that I already had some troubles regarding that, and I was wondering if it was just a thing because I knitted like a year and something ago, and I was like, maybe now it's gonna be easier. It's not. It's even worse. Because in the meantime I have started writing patterns, and I'm like, I know how it would be so much easier to do things, but it's not. Yeah, I think if I knit it for myself another time, I'm going to rewrite it, because it's it's a pain. But the result is lovely, so I really recommend the pattern. But maybe if you knit it for yourself, maybe print it out and have a pen with you and be ready to cross out every single step you've made, because they all look the same and all the rows are numbered 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, so it's impossible to keep track of where you're at, and there is so much text that it's super difficult to just know at what glance in which step you are. So take a pen, or if you use a tablet or something, just cross out on the file what you just did, because you're gonna get lost. But otherwise, beautiful pattern. And as I mentioned, I went to my local yarn store to buy this yarn, and I have actually a funny story that happened there, but I'm gonna share that at the end. before that, I just realized I forgot to tell you about the other knitwear, the other two knitwear I'm wearing. This is not the only one. And yeah, see, the collar just went up and I look super weird like that. Anyway, the other one I'm wearing is in my hair, back here. I was already wearing one in the precedent episode and I already forgot to talk about it, so not this time. This is the Augustins number 22 pattern by Anne-Sophie Venning. I have a whole collection of them, I have like 10. And I never wear them, which is a shame, so I decided I will try to put them on in the podcast, at least. So this one is knit using a sock yarn, a cashmere sock yarn. I used to knit a muscle bra hat for a friend of mine and I had some leftovers, so I held it double to make this guy. And it's very small and it's actually super cute. It's the smallest one I have, I think. And I mean, hello. It's just so cute. I love it. Yeah, so that's it for this one. And bottom below here, I'm wearing my Tolsta Tee knit using Antigone by the Real Natura, which is 100% linen. And it's my go-to t-shirt, I guess, because it's easy to wear, it's just grey. And I can just throw it on without thinking too much. But it makes me realize, I already mentioned that, but since I have destashed and sent away a lot of my t-shirts and camisoles that were itchy or not fitting, I'm left with like only this guy and 2 other t-shirts, and that's not enough to wear on a regular basis, so I'm kind of always wearing this one, so I'm really tired of it because I always have it on. So yeah, that's my usual t-shirt, my basic t-shirt that I'm tired of and I want to change. Alright, now I'm gonna talk about my main work in progress, the one you are all here for. Not all of you. But this is my next design, the design I'm working on, which is the... oh no, I forgot to steam block the collar. The Roadtrip Shacket, which is here. And yeah, it looks like nothing because I forgot to steam block the collar, which is completely curling up itself. But yeah, you get the idea. It's this beauty. I think I'm gonna put it on, it's gonna be easier to see. So as I mentioned, this is the replacement of this guy, because it's knit using the same yarn. It's also unspun yarn, it's knitted by Honor of Air, and it's held double and it has kind of the same vibe. I mean, the first one is the Miles shirt jacket and this one is the Roadtrip Shacket, which is a shirt jacket. So really, they are supposed to have the same size. But this one has a completely different construction, where I'm gonna talk about more later, but oh, this is really bothering me. I think I'm gonna give it a quick steam block before I continue, because it looks like trash. Much better! So, this design is knit both bottom up and top down, because you cast on here at the bottom of the texture and then you knit up until the shoulder, you bind off and then you do the back panel and the other front panel and then you join all the shoulders together with a nice seam. That was the most complicated thing I have ever knit in my life. Ever. I mean, knitting it in itself wasn't really the problem, but writing it into an enjoyable and straightforward experience for the pattern was so difficult. I'm gonna spare you the details, but yeah, I already talked a little bit about it in the precedent episodes, but I finally cracked the code and you have no idea how difficult it was. It looks so easy, but this is a slip stitch and cabled pattern, so the gauge is very tight compared to stockinette, so you cannot just bind off all the stitches you have, because otherwise the gauge of the bind off is going to be different from the one of the texture. So yeah, it was and there was absolutely no chance I was gonna leave out the shoulder shaping, so I wanted to have staggered bind off to have a shoulder slope, and I wanted to have, of course, a different shoulder slope for all the sizes, because I want the sizing to be perfect for everyone, not just for the small sizes. And I also wanted to have a nice neckline shaping, which is also on the back. So yeah, it was an absolute mess, but I am extremely proud of the solution I found, which is like super easy. There are only, I think, 6 charts in the whole pattern for all the sizes for this thing. I mean, I'm so proud. If you ever see the pattern, you're gonna see I managed to put the back shaping inside the chart of the front shaping, and it like, I'm a genius. No, but yeah, it was very complicated. I'm super proud of it. So yeah, now finally I could move on because I was stuck on this for like 2 weeks straight. So once I finally cracked this one, I could complete the body. So I picked up stitches from the bottom here and then I knit down, doing the underarm shaping. And I did a little trick where I cast on the stitches for the pockets, the pocket flap, at the same time as I started knitting the body, so that the pockets are already placed and you don't need to count stuff afterwards and have the pocket be like not centered compared to the flap, or not at the same placement on both sides, which is kind of what happened on this one. It also has pockets on the bottom, and I just remember it was more difficult than necessary to find the placement of each of those. So casting on the stitches for both this one and this one here while you're knitting the body just make things a lot easier, in my opinion. So you don't need to do it, but there are instructions in the pattern on how to do it. So those are my 2 patch pockets, and I just like this fit where the texture is delimited by the position of the pocket. I just really like it. It's also on the back. Obviously there are no pockets on the back, but it still looks a lot like a actual shirt jacket construction. I have one here that I wear all the time, and you can see on the back, I mean, not sure you can see it, but there is this seam here that's very, very usual in a shirt. So I just wanted to replicate that. So that's where this whole idea is coming from. And also that I don't like knitting bottom up, especially for big garments that are supposed to be super long and oversized, like something like this. So I wanted to knit it top down, but knitting top down with a drop shoulder construction is a pain. So that's why I mixed both. And then I picked up the stitches for the sleeves. I did a little sleeve cap, like this deep, I think. And I'm knitting the sleeves with decreasing here. And I'm also gonna have a nice detail for the cuff that I'm super excited about, but I didn't manage to get to the cuff yet. So I cannot show you just now, but yeah, that's what it's looking like. Oh! It's looking super cool with the short sleeve! I didn't realize. It looks like a short... Oh, it's so cool! I love it! I didn't realize. I'm definitely gonna make another version with the short sleeves, which is completely dumb with a warm yarn, but I'm gonna definitely do something with a lighter weight yarn with a short... I love it so much! Okay, sorry, I'm losing it. Anyway, so yeah, I had knit the collar a first time, and I tried to do something which I thought would be smart and like cool. So I did the first half of the shirt collar with the pearl side, I mean the reverse stockinette out, and then I did the second half with the stockinette out. And I was hoping to have the nice fold happening where both texture changed. It didn't. There is absolutely no reason it would. So I was just having a weird pool of pearls there. I have a picture, it just looked weird. So I had to undo the whole thing, and I also had picked up too many stitches, so I redid it, and now I think the sizing is just fine. It's close to my neck, but it's not like choking me in any way. And the front depth is okay. I still need to add the button bed to the front, so it's gonna be more like this. And it's not too close to your neck on the front. Shirts are supposed to be super high, like that, but that's uncomfortable, so I didn't. So yeah, it's gonna be like this, and I just love it. I'm so excited. And yeah, so I have already talked to you about the inspiration behind the name, but I'm gonna show you the mood board again because I'm so proud. And when I wrote the post on Instagram about this guy, sharing about the name for the first time, I did write a sentence that's like perfect. Wait, I already forgot it, so I'm just gonna check out on my Instagram again what I wrote, but I think it was describing it so perfectly. Wait, so it says, the joy of feeling at home wherever you are in the world. The Roadtrip Shacket. So that's it. It's feeling at home when you are on the road, and that's why I called it that way. I love the short sleeve. Yeah, so what did I wanted to say about this one? There is no ribbing at all in the whole pattern. As you can see, this is stockinette, the cuff is gonna be stockinette, the button band stockinette, and the pockets stockinette. I just don't like ribbing. I have a problem with it, I guess. And especially for a design where it's... I mean, there is already a texture here, and I didn't want the ribbing to compete with this one. So it was just smooth stockinette or this. And I have been agonizing over what to do with the edgings, like the collar and the cuffs, because my first idea was to use single strand, because this is double strand, and I wanted to use single threads of unspun for double knitting for the edgings, so that I could do grafting closure, so that I have a seamless and smooth edge for stuff like this, which is not supposed to have an edge. I mean, not in a shirt. It's like there is no edging. But first, knitting with unspun and single is kind of difficult, and doing a grafted bind off, Italian bind off is even worse. With single strand it's like impossible. So I was like, I need to find a solution that goes with the yarn I chose. I cannot just throw in every solution I'm always using, hoping it would work, even if I don't use the same yarn as usual. So I need to be smart about my choices. Even though the other yarn I'm suggesting in the pattern is this one, it's blown out. It's Rauma Vams. So you can knit this at the same gauge, it's super cheap, so it's absolutely perfect for this pattern. I really want to make another one using this. Maybe I can do a shirt, short sleeve with Vams. I don't know. So you could do the Italian bind off with this, but still I needed to find a solution for the people that are gonna use unspun. So I decided to use the anti-roll bind off technique that I have already used in my skirt pattern, and it's what I used here. So it leaves a slight edge, and then you have the bind off V's on the side. Not sure you can see anything. But I think it actually looks very similar to the way a real shirt looks, because you can see there is the seam here at the edge, and it actually looks like the seam of the anti-roll. So I think actually it's very fitting. At first I had tried using a 2-stitch I-cord bind off, which I have left on this side of the pocket. This is my first try. I also have used it in the first try of the shirt collar, which I took in a picture of so you can see. But when I undid it, I went with the other solution, and for the second pocket I also used the anti-roll, and I think it looks better. However, for now I have put both instructions for the I-cord and the anti-roll bind off in the pattern. Maybe I will remove the I-cord because I really think this looks better and it's faster to make than this one. I don't know yet, I'm not sure. But I think I will remove the I-cord. I don't know. And the last design feature that you cannot see is the curved hem. So it's gonna be very similar to this one, actually. Oop, oh. There, the curved hem here, this one. Except I'm not gonna use ribbing. I'm gonna have the same anti-roll bind off, and it's gonna be so good. Yeah, can you tell I'm excited? So the test call for this guy is coming up very soon, because I sent out the pattern to my tech editor this weekend, and she came back with the edits, and I had surprisingly few. I mean, I worked so hard on this, so I'm not that surprised, but yeah, it's going pretty smoothly, so I think it's gonna go into testing earlier than I expected. I just need to film some tutorials for the texture, especially for the reading the charts on the shoulders. I mean, I think it's pretty easy, but maybe that's because I've been on it for 2 months. I'm not sure how easy it's gonna be for someone that see it for the first time, so I'm just gonna film a little tutorial for that. I hate filming tutorials. I don't want to do it, but I need to do it. Yeah, so the test goal is, I'm aiming for, what day it is? Thursday? I'm aiming for Saturday, but I think I'm gonna be hangover, so I'm not sure. Maybe Sunday. Anyway, stay tuned, it's gonna be on my Instagram. I will put up a form that you just need to fill out. It's gonna be fully size inclusive, of course. The size range is up to, I don't remember, I'm gonna put it here, but it's size inclusive. And yeah, I'm just so excited. I just hope someone is gonna make a short sleeve version. I mean, it looks so cool. I need to take a picture of it like this. Yeah, I just wanted to mention something. I had a moment of panic attack. Because you probably know of Rebecca from the Crea Bea. I absolutely love everything she does. I watch religiously all her content, her podcast, her vlogs, everything. I watch everything. I love everything. And she has the stick season sweater, and she's doing currently the stick season jacket, which has the same like texture on the top of the yoke. I mean on the yoke, and then plain stockinette for the rest. And I've been watching her for so long, and I've known this design for so long, that I never did see that it actually looks like this. And the other day, I just took the flat lay pictures of all the panels here, and right after that I went on Instagram and I saw her picture of the stick season jacket that looks so similar to this, and I was like, oh my god, am I copying her? I had a moment of panic because, I mean, if you follow this video, you know that the thought process and the designing idea and the concept is nowhere near what she's doing. She is coming from the Guernsey sweaters and the whole like texture vibe on the yoke. I mean, she has the whole Icelandic sweaters in mind, and I am absolutely not coming from that. I mean, I am just like, I love shackets and they have seams, and I want to mimic the seams with different texture, and I like having a pocket here. It's handy, so I wanted to have the pocket do delimitation between stockinette and texture, and that's it. It has nothing to do with her own thought process, but the results are very similar, except that my texture doesn't go all the way to the underarm, and I don't have the ribbings stuff, and I have this. I mean, it's not the same. I'm aware it's not the same, but I just had a moment of panic when I was like, oh no, are people gonna think I copied her? I didn't. I really didn't. So I was wondering if I should maybe reach out to her, but then I realized it was maybe a little bit ridiculous because it's so different. So I don't know. What do you think? Maybe I should reach out? I don't know. It's not the same at all. Especially when it's gonna be finished with the curved hem. I don't know. Just something that happened. Alright, now it's time for the... I'm too hot. I mean, I say that, I'm gonna put back the other one on. It's time for story time. I told you I went to my local yarn shop to buy this guy. So I knew I wanted this. I had seen it on the website, I knew I needed 3 skeins, and I was like, I am not gonna buy anything else. I need this yarn and I will buy this yarn. I can have a lot of self-control when I want. And I wanted to have self-control, so I was gonna have self-control. So I went in the shop, and just before going there, I received a package with a new down jacket I had bought. I've been wanting this jacket for like more than a year, but it's kind of expensive and it's like very pink. But I loved it so much, I really wanted it, but I was like, can I really wear a jacket that's this pink? I'm not sure. I love it, but can I really put it off? I don't know. So I didn't buy it. and then it was out of stock, and then it was summer. But even in the summer, when I go climbing outside, I go in the mountains, it gets super cold, and when you're in the shade and there is no sunlight, it's like freezing immediately. So I actually need this type of down jacket the whole year round. And the whole summer I was like, oh my god, I wish I had bought this jacket last winter. I really needed it. So this fall, when it started to get cold, every week I was going on the website and thinking, can I buy it or not? Can I buy it or not? And it was already 100 francs cheaper than last year. So I was like, it's only 300 francs now, so I can buy it, right? So after 2 months of thinking about it, I finally decided to buy it, and I wear it every day, even when I'm not going to the mountain. I love it so much. I'm obsessed about this jacket. I just love this pink. I love wearing it. I just feel like myself in that. So yeah, I'm happy I did buy it. However, it's kind of difficult to pair anything with it because the color is so intense, and I don't have a ton of headwear like hats or headbands or whatever, because if you followed, you know I have quite the trouble with my hair and hats, because whenever I wear a hat, if my hair are like this, the hat is just going to slide off my head. It's being pushed by my hair. And if I wear my hair like this, it's gonna get completely tangled because of the rubbing against my other garments and the hat, and it's just an absolute mess. So I don't really have a lot of hats. But lately I've been feeling like I'm really missing like just a basic hat. I don't have one. I have knit a muscle bro hat, but it's super itchy. It's knit in a yarn that feels soft against my body, but my forehead is like next level sensitive, and I cannot wear that hat. So I was wanting to knit myself a muscle bro in a fingering weight that would be maybe soft enough for my forehead, I don't know. And when I went to that yarn shop, coming back to the beginning of the story, to get this yarn, I went to pay for it. I know the owner of the yarn shop. I was chatting with her, and then I turned around and I saw a skein of pink yarn. It was my first time going out with the coat, and I saw this skein in the shop, and I was like, this is fate. This is destiny. There is no other way to put it. It's meant for me. It was right there. I didn't buy it. I have too much self-control. I shared about it on Instagram, and so many people wrote to me and were like, you should have bought it. Yeah, I should. But yeah, I haven't gone back since, and I've been thinking about it ever since, like every day. I'm thinking about it. The other reason I didn't buy it, other than I had decided not to and I have too much self-control, is that it's a sock yarn and it's a blend of merino nylon. However, it's 90% merino, 10% nylon, and the merino is 21.5 micron, which I know is super soft, and I can definitely wear next to skin with absolutely no itch factor, like at all. I know it. But I'm not sure about the nylon. It's maybe gonna make it itchy, because I have a headband I have knit in fingering weight merino nylon superwash, but the proportions were 75-25, and it was not a particularly soft merino, and this one is like so itchy. I just can't. I wear it because I'm cold and I have nothing else, but every time I wear it I'm like itching my forehead all the time. So what I did is I asked my brother asked me, what do you want for Christmas? And I was like, can you get me this skein of yarn, please? So I sent him the link, and I hope he's gonna get it for me. I don't know if he's done it yet, but I hope I'm gonna get it. And I'm gonna try. And I think it's definitely not gonna be worse than the headband I mentioned in the merino nylon. And I can still survive wearing that one, so even if I knit myself this pink hat and it's a little bit itchy, it's gonna be wearable. Maybe it's not gonna be perfect, but I think I will still be able to wear it, which is enough, I think. I hope. Yeah, that's my plan. I should have bought it! Alright, so The next thing I wanted to talk about is my username change. So I mentioned it already, but maya.tinks is difficult. I know it. It's difficult to remember, difficult to say, and I never explained where it came from. I mean, not a ton of makers or people on the internet really explain where their name came from, so I don't think that's a problem. But I never explained that it's actually two words. I mean, not two words, but in two parts. It's said in two parts. The first is Mila, which is the name, Mila. And then hism is like the suffix you put at the end of some words, like optimism or atheism or stuff like that. So it's Mila, hism, which is a lot easier to remember, I think, than just like Mila. I should have explained that. But yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while, and when I started to get mentioned on other people's podcasts and I see the podcasters struggle with the name so much, I'm like, I need to stop. I need to stop doing that to them. They are so nice to mention me and they struggle with the name. It's just, I need to change it. So I've been thinking about it for a while. I've been trying out a lot of different combinations in my head, and I finally decided to go with maya.tinks, which is a lot easier, and it's also more me because Maya is literally my name. And it's universal in every single, I mean, it's one of the very rare names that exists in all the countries. It's not really tied to any place in the world, so it's universal. It's super easy to say, easy to remember. So yeah, I think it's just gonna be better. And for the tinks, most of you probably know, but for some of you that don't, tinks is knits spelled backwards, and it means to unknit, which I do a lot. I mean, I'm the type of knitter that starts a sock and knows it's gonna be too small or too big, and I'm just like, I'm still gonna do it as a big swatch so that I can unravel the whole thing. I just don't care about unraveling and frogging stuff. So yeah, I'm all about making mistakes and learning from them. So tinks feels like a great name, I think. So maya.tinks. I have spent more than an hour changing it everywhere on social media. I hope I haven't forgotten anywhere, but maybe I have. We shall see in the next few days how it comes, but yeah. I changed my username. So at the beginning of the episode, I started saying Mila's Things Knitting Podcast, and no, it's gonna be my knitting podcast, I guess. Battery change. Talking about podcast, I have already recommended a few ones, but I have been binge watching one lately, which is in French. So I know quite some of you speak French, but not everyone, so sorry guys if you don't speak French. But I have been watching Yarn Flakes podcast. You probably know Yarn Flakes. I mean, she's like so well known and she's super prolific and she does amazing designs over on Instagram, so you probably know her, but she's from France, she lives in France, she speaks French and she does podcasts and videos and vlogs in French, and I love that so much. I've known her for a while, but I didn't know she was making content on YouTube, and when I discovered that I was like, I'm not sure. Because I usually don't watch podcasts or videos in French because French-speaking people, for some reason, and I'm not just talking about knitting content, I mean in general, French-speaking people tend to speak in front of a camera as if they were in a theater. Like, they talk in such a dramatic way, and it's like, why can't you just talk as if you are having a conversation with someone? And it irritates me so much. I absolutely hate it. Like, even when I watch a film, a French film, like where the actors speak French, I will sometimes watch it in English because I just can't stand the way French people speak in front of a camera. I don't know. It's a cultural thing, and it's just like that. I don't know. I can't. And I mean, unfortunately, podcasters do the same. So a lot of the time, when I start watching a podcast in French, I can do 5 minutes and then I just stop because I can't. However, Audrey, She doesn't do that. I mean, less than the others. And I'm like, yes, I can watch her. I've been so excited about her content. It's like she's doing podcasts and vlogs, and she's just so lovely. She's super sweet, and she's so funny. I just love her. So if you don't watch her content yet, if you like this one, you're probably gonna like hers. She's super funny. She's super sweet. Yeah, whatever. Go and watch her if you speak French. Even if you don't. Learn French and watch her. But I wanted to mention something because in one of her videos she started out by talking about the fact that she didn't want people to compare themselves to her, especially regarding the quantity of knitting, because knitting is her job. She's a full-time knitwear designer and she literally knits all the time. Every day she's designing and knitting. She's only doing that in her life. So of course she can knit a lot. She finishes garments very fast and she's a fast knitter. So yeah, she's just very proficient, if that's the word. And she just wanted to make clear that people that have a daytime job and that only knit during the spare time around that, it wasn't a good idea to compare themselves to her, because she just doesn't have the same life context. She can knit all the time, and of course she's gonna knit more than people that can only knit outside of their day job. Which made me think, I didn't really realize it because of course I compare myself to others, but not for all the subjects or domains. And knitting is one where I never compare myself to anyone else. I just don't care about if other can knit more or less than me. It just doesn't cross my mind, so I never realized that maybe some of you might compare yourself to me. So I figured it was maybe time I address the fact that I don't work anymore. I don't have a day job, so I literally do this all the time. Which is why I can finish a sweater in 12 days, like I did for the Maxine sweater test I did a few weeks ago. I don't have a day job, I don't have anything else to do. I mean, that's not true. I take a lot of time to write out the patterns I'm currently working on, and I'm still a beginner at this, so this takes a huge amount of time, especially since I start over 600 times before I'm happy. Yeah, so I knit a lot. I have a lot of knitting time because I don't have a day job, so... And on top of that, I'm a super fast knitter in general, so I just don't want anyone to compare themselves and feel uneasy when watching my content, because I feel like I don't sleep because I knit so much. Yeah, I sleep, but I don't work. Which leads me to the subject of my life. And I don't really talk about it because I don't like to. I'm not an oversharer, I'm not a sharer at all. I just don't like talking about my personal life in general. Even in real life, when I meet people and they start asking questions about me, I'm like, can I leave? I don't like it. I'm too hot. So I never shared anything about it. However, I don't like talking about it, but I even more don't like... It's even worse for me to think that people might feel uneasy or jealous or have negative feelings towards my content because they don't know the context in which I am and they think it's the same as theirs, and they start comparing themselves to me, and that's terrible. I really don't want that. So I think I'm gonna have to talk about my life at some point. Not yet, because I am still not sure of what's happening. The reason I'm not working anymore is because I was put on medical leave. Is that how you say it? And then my boss fired me, which is legal. It's immoral, but it's legal. So I was fired because I was on medical leave. And the reason of the medical leave is clear, but I haven't got the diagnosis yet. It's gonna come in the following weeks, and I just don't want to talk about anything if I'm not sure of it. So yeah, it's gonna wait for a little bit more, but I hope maybe in the next podcast, or I think the beginning of the year rather, I'm gonna share about what's happening. Because for now I still don't know. But what I can share about is that I don't have a day job, and I knit a lot, and I don't have any plans for the future. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. I'm completely lost, but I don't want to talk about it. So yeah, that's it. Regarding the next podcast and the next videos, that's something I can share about. Coming up, I have one more podcast in which I'm going to talk about my next pattern release, which is the Harmony jacket. That's coming up. I think it's going to be on the 20th of December that I'm going to publish the pattern. And so there's going to be a podcast around that. And I also really wanted to film winter knitting plan where I really wanted to do like a review of my fall knitting plans, where I like take the list of everything I had planned to knit during the fall and just see what I had done or not, what I have done or not. I'm just really curious, and it's just something super satisfying to have the list and then cross out stuff and see oh my god, see what I didn't cross out. I'm super excited about that. So this video, like winter knitting plans / did I follow my fall knitting plans video, is coming up, and I'm super excited about it. And I think I'm also gonna do like a 2024 knitting year in review. I'm not sure, because I have done the summer knitting review, and I did a lot of summer knitting this year, so I think half of my year is already like reviewed. But maybe I can do like a winter knitting review video and just leave out everything that was for the summer. I don't know. Maybe not. Let me know if you have any preference, if you would like to have all the year in one video, or if you just want like the winter knitting and let the summer knitting be in the other video. I don't know. If you have any preference, or just maybe have a suggestion, I'm all ears. And that's it for the end of the year. So yeah, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I didn't forget anything. I'm gonna continue working on the pattern until the test code is ready, so stay tuned for that. Follow me on Instagram if you don't want to miss it out. Miss it. And yeah, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for watching until the end. I think this video is not gonna get a lot of reach, because the YouTube game is currently being completely flooded by vlogmases, which is amazing. I love watching vlogmases, I watch a ton. But yeah, I feel like there is not a lot of watching time left for standard content like this one. I have heard that a lot of people don't watch vlogmases, but I feel like this is changed over the years, and now it's kind of shifted. Like everyone watches vlogmases during the whole holiday season, and nobody watches podcasts anymore. I don't know. Maybe tell me if you watch vlogmases or not, what you think about this, and if you're still interested in normal content, because actually I wanted to film this video last week already, but I was like, nobody's gonna watch it anyway. What's the point? But yeah, I'm putting this out on the internet, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be watched by 50 people, but it's alright. You are my 50 people. You are the VIP of my life. Yeah, anyway, I need to stop. I'm super hungry, and the lighting is absolutely terrible. I'm sorry, this has been a situation for a while, I guess. So yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed, and happy knitting and all of that. Happy holiday season. Happy Vlogmas, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!